Sunday. It's Sunday, 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 Sunday school. Sunday, 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 Sunday. It's Sunday, 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 Sunday.
Hey guys, it's Miss Waynell from thatsundayschoolgirl.com. Yes, I am basically like your super cool auntie who just happens to teach Sunday school, and I am here to get you ready for Sunday, August 30th. I hope that you had a great week. I know that some of you are back in school. Maybe you had to go back to the building, and that may be a little bit different as you're learning how to move and get along in your new space. Or some of you are doing virtual programs, and I know a few of you who are actually hybriding, but whatever you're doing, it is my prayer that you have an amazing academic school year. I know that God is going to bless you. It is my prayer that He keeps you safe. It is my prayer that He helps you in all of your schoolwork. You are one of the brightest people I know, so I know that God is going to give you the ability to not only understand the information, but to retain it. And when it's test time, He's going to give you the ability to recall it and know everything that you need to do to get great grades. Do me a favor. Promise me that you're going to be a good citizen. You're going to do what your teachers ask you to do, and you are going to make me proud. I know this is going to be a great school year. And while we're balancing school, of course, we on Sundays do have Sunday school. So this week, we are talking one more time about wisdom. Guess what, guys? This is our last week in this quarter. You really hung in here with me as we talked about wisdom. We started off talking about what wisdom is. And remember, I told you that wisdom isn't just the stuff you learn in school. It's not just the stuff that's in a book, but it is literally your ability to take what you know and begin to make it real in your life. That every day when challenges come up in your life or you have to make decisions, it is wisdom that will guide you if you will allow it. We also talked about the fact that if you don't think you have wisdom, that you can ask God for it. And I even told you that wisdom is not about being an old person. Even young people, just like you, can operate in wisdom. If we need wisdom, we can ask God for it. This week is our final week. We've been in James. I think this is week number 5. So we've learned a lot about James as he writes. And by the way, there is a kid pack that was uploaded. So if your parent or teacher has not already handed that to you, please ask them to download it. There are some activities in there that will help you as you work through this lesson, and you may just enjoy them. So as we are finishing up James, remember that James was the half-brother of Jesus. And we talked a few weeks ago about the fact that his family did not always believe in him. But at this point, his family knows that he was the Savior. And so James begins to be a leader in the church. And leaders are great people. You're a leader. And James leads people and he helps them to learn more about how to be not just good people, but people who follow God in everything that we do. Did you know that our following God is not just about going to church on Sunday, but every day it makes a difference how we live when we leave the church because we say that we love God. And so we operate like God's people in school. We operate like God's people with our family. And even when we are with our friends. That's what James is helping everyone to know, is that it is more than just going to church. Last week, he was talking to a group who thought that they wanted to be teachers. And he said that, I don't know if this is really the job that you want to do, because being a teacher is a really big job. You've got to be careful because our mouths, we talked about that. Sometimes our tongues don't say the right things. And we talked about that last week, but this is still chapter 3 that we're in. We start in chapter 3, verses 13 through 18. So it's the same group of people, and he's asking a question now. In verse 13, he asks, who do you know around you that is a wise person? And I'll ask you that. When you think about wise people, who do you look around and see that is wise where you are? Is it someone in your church? Maybe one of or two, both of your parents, your grandparents? Do you have friends that you think are wise? And James is asking about reputation. Our reputations are important. What people think about us as God's people are important. But James also says this. It's not just that we think someone is wise or we say that they're wise, but how do you know it? How do you know that someone has wisdom? Well, I already told you. It's how they live. every single day. It's listening to the words they say. It's it's watching the music they listen to. It has to do with the places they go, the people they hang out with. You see it every day in what they do. Then James talks to us about two kinds of wisdom. We all have choices. You guys are always making choices. When you eat, you're thinking about whether you're going to have a healthy meal or one of those sugary or salty snacks that we all love. When we want something to drink, are you going to drink water? Or are you going to go for the soda or some other kind of juice that may have more sugar in it? And sometimes we even have to make choices with our friends when they want to do things that we know we shouldn't do. But in that moment, we want them to like us, and we know that it feels like it's a lot of fun, and we're making a choice about whether we think that's the best thing to do for the moment because it's fun, or whether that's going to mean trouble later on. We are always making choices. And so James talks about two kinds of wisdom that you and I get to choose. First, he talks about worldly wisdom. And he says worldly wisdom does not come from God. Worldly wisdom comes from the outside, from the things that are against God, things that are in the world. Worldly wisdom can come from movies that we shouldn't watch, or music that we shouldn't listen to, or people that we shouldn't hang around. That is not from God. And ultimately, he says that takes us to a place that God is not pleased with us. He talks to them about an attitude. And sometimes people become jealous of each other, and they do mean things and mean-spirited things just so that other people don't have good success. And James says that's not the kind of people that you and I should be. We should choose godly wisdom. What is godly wisdom? Well, godly wisdom comes from above. It comes from God. It is clean. It's pure. It doesn't take advantage of people. It doesn't try to do both God's way and the devil's way, but it is focused on making sure that you and I are the best that we can be every single day. It's also nice to people. He talks about being gentle, and that has to do with how we treat people every single day. You and I should be honest when we speak, fair with people when we deal with them, and really just work to live right every single day. He also talks about being patient. We go to another chapter, chapter 5, verses 7 through 12. And he's talking to us finally about being patient. That life is not easy. There are some things that even you go through. They're just not easy things. They're things that you have to think about, things that happen that don't feel good. Sometimes you're going to be disappointed. But James says for us to be patient. What does it look like to be patient? Well, his example is someone who has a farm, and the farmer goes out and plants seeds, and on day number 1, he doesn't see anything. On day number 2, he probably doesn't see anything. Maybe even on day 10, he doesn't see anything, but he waits for the rain, because the rain is going to come and give the crop everything that it needs. My mom has a garden. Here's a picture of my mom's garden, and it's just like the farmer. She had to wait and wait several weeks, but once the rains came and she continued to do her own watering, guess what? We got tomatoes, we got squash, we got corn, we got, what else? Watermelon. She even has fruit trees, and we got peaches and apples and all kinds of things. But that comes with being patient. Patient means that we just can't always be in a hurry, but it always means we have something to look forward to. You know what it means to be patient. It is August, and in just a few months, we'll be looking at what? Christmas. And all of us get excited about Christmas because, yes, we celebrate the birth of Christ, but that also means gifts. It means presents. And so sometimes we're excited about Christmas Day. And on December 1st, we're excited. And on the 15th, it's so much closer. But guess what? We always have to be patient because we can't open the gifts until either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, depending on your family. But that's what it means. It means that you wait, but you have something that you look forward to, and that's what James wants us to know. And what is it that we can look forward to? We look forward to the fact that Jesus is coming back one day. He's coming back to get us all. And if we have lived right and we accept him as our Savior, we know that we go to heaven one day. James wants us to be kind to one another. Make sure that you're not complaining all of the time. We should watch that. When we're complainers, that tells God that we're not happy with what he's doing for us. So don't complain. Work on your attitude. And even when things get difficult, I want you to know this. Life will be tough. There'll be some hard things that you have to figure out, but you're not the first one. James tells us that there are all kinds of people. He talks about the prophets and even Job, who did things like this, and they had tough times, and they went through, and they made it. And you will, and I will too. So that is our lesson this week. I want you to remember that you can make good choices. You can choose godly wisdom. And again, I pray that you've learned a lot about wisdom in this quarter. And remember, this is not just for you to know the information in your head, but every single day. We talked about this 2 weeks ago. Just do it. Do it God's way. Let's continue to make God proud. I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.